The casting process is a very simple process in which we take a molten metal, pour it into a cavity, and allow it to solidify, hence giving us a desired outcome. In our day to day life, ice making is the best possible example of casting process. In ice making, we take a tray in which water is poured. The water fills the cavity that is present in the tray, and these cavities are nothing but a replica or a duplicate of the shape of the desired outcome. And what is this desired outcome? A ice cube itself. The water inside the ice tray solidifies due to the freezing action of the refrigerator. And finally, we have the outcome as an ice cube. The raw material in case of ice making is water. The equipment that we have used is called the ice tray, and the output that we are getting is the ice cube. Whereas in metal casting, which is a very similar process, the raw material is the molten metal or the liquid metal. The equipment in this case, in case of metal casting, is known as a mold. And the output, that is the desired outcome, it can be of any shape, it can be of any size, is known as a casted component. Now let's understand the proper definition of a casting process. What is casting basically? The traditional definition of casting is that it is a process in which molten metal is poured into a cavity whose shape is similar to the desired casted component, and this casted component is obtained by breaking the mold. There are several advantages and several disadvantages of casting processes. First, they are cheap and easy. Small to large components can be manufactured via casting, and complicated shapes can also be manufactured. However, avoiding defects, casting defects, is completely impossible. Surface finish is not too good. You get less dimensional accuracy, and further machining is required almost all the time in traditional casting process. Now what is this traditional casting process? When I'm using the word traditional, that means I meant by sand casting. So sand casting is the most used casting process nowadays, but there are certain other processes as well, like die casting, shell molding, that we will discuss after we complete the sand casting. Now let's understand what is happening in this process. Let's take an example. Let's say this is the desired outcome. This is what we want our casting component to be. So for that, almost similar, because replica is not the same thing, almost similar cavity has to be made. And this cavity is made inside the equipment, the complete setup. This complete setup is known as the mold, inside which this cavity is made. And how this cavity is made? This cavity is made with the help of a pattern. This is the very similar representation, demonstration of the casting process. When we will proceed further in the course, you will get to know each and everything in very much detail. This is the very basic explanation, very basic demonstration. Now, this cavity has been made with the help of a pattern. Now, for pouring the molten metal, you need to provide some passage. And that passage is what we call the gating system in casting, in which molten metal will be poured and it will fill the cavity. it will take the shape of the desired outcome, approximate shape, because further machining is bound to happen in each and every case. And as soon as the metal solidifies inside the cavity, you get your desired outcome.